3.
Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners, we have a potpourri of popularity today with American Idol's Effie Passero, fashion designer Jonathan Marc Stein. Oh, and I have to tell you, Effie is singing live as a special treat. Fashion designer Jonathan Marc Stein with a special interview with Olivier Award nominee Sarah Boggess. That's at the top of the hour. Of course, she was in Broadway's The Little Mermaid. She was Phantom of the Opera and Hollywood Bowl's upcoming Into the Woods. And we have my twisted sister for tonight, Allusia Alusia, putting the O in Oh My God.
Oh my God.
Oh, and me, your favorite host with the deepest voice. So raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, coming at you live, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Lord have mercy, it's going to be a bumpy night. Oh, look at that applause already. Buns and bows and pantyhose. This is On the Rocks, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. Life is just not fair. You took away Big Little Lies and left us with the Cats trailer. And time to state an unpopular opinion. The most boring actor in Hollywood playing the most boring person on TV. We got the trailer for Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers.
No!
That
You
could
don't
make
like
sense,
Tom
though.
Hanks?
I mean, my God, was it sponsored by NyQuil? I mean, who's going to sit through this? Jesus. I mean, it's like, just give him the Academy Award. Don't make me sit through and watch it. You know it's going to be about a 4-hour epic. What did Mr. Rogers do? I know he did a lot through PBS and public television, and he taught kids how to change in front of other people.
Which I've been doing for years.
Yeah, well, literally, whether they've asked to or not.
The restraining orders, they just roll in.
Speaking of restraining orders, thank you to our sober listeners for tuning in. Thank you for holding our hair back and driving us home. Speaking of drinking and being sober, if you are drinking, our official vodka for On the Rocks is Equality Vodka. Enjoy the ultra premium vodka and help to support the community at the same time by requesting Equality Vodka. They give 20% of every bottle to help fund nonprofit organizations that support equality for everyone. Visit them at Equality Vodka on the web, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Hello to our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, United Broadcasting Network, Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Acast. Now I'm happy to announce that the video is on Roku. Of course, we are on Facebook Live on Trendy Now San Diego, on the West Coast on GED Magazine, and nationally on Queer 40. And now we're also brought to you nationally on I Love Gay LGBT. Couldn't get gayer than that. It's a national network of LGBT news outlets and marketing. Give them a like on all of our social medias. Of course, you know everybody is welcome at our table. Show is also brought to you in partnership with Here TV. We now appear on Facebook Watch, HereTV.com, and the Here TV app for free. Whoop, whoop. Mama Rose is in the chat room on Facebook Live answering your questions. If it's a burning question, you know a lot about burning sensations.
That's what my friends tell me.
Wah, wah, allegedly.
West Hollywood. Did you breathe once during that
I
whole thing?
know.
Not one
I have
breath.
a question.
It's all the hotter. Well, you know about good breathing.
Yeah, the breathing.
Use
But
the diaphragm.
as you drink, do you speak faster or do you slow down? Do you slur a
it's
little
cursive.
bit?
It's cursive.
Yeah, it speaks in cursive.
Alusia, that's literally what we say. By the end of the show, I'm speaking in cursive. And I love you all.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
I know.
And then we
Here's
usually
the equality.
Yes. Wow. We love equality. Anyway, but if it's a burning question, I will get texted it, so don't think I'm being rude. I'm actually reading some comments in the chat room. Kurt is on vacation visiting his family, so
I'm
we have
already on
Tony
my second
Sweet,
wife.
actually the station owner, stepping in. I hope you press those buttons right, girl.
Maybe.
Maybe. But Kurt sent you a pun. He's known for his puns on the show. Go ahead, give us the pun. Make it fast.
Do you know the difference between oral and anal?
Oh, my God.
Yes,
He
I
sent
do.
you
He
this?
sent me this. I'm reading what he sent me. Do you know the difference?
He's never like this. He does like cartoon
much you pay?
puns.
right.
What? Oh.
The
How much
difference
you
is-
pay?
Oh, is that...
Right.
Or how much I charge?
No. Oral makes your day and anal makes your whole week.
I'm so sorry, Jonathan. He's like this like fancy fashion designer. We never do that on the show, Tony.
I'm
Don't laugh
sorry.
at that,
I know
Effie.
it's
Let's class
a
it up.
Family show.
Oh, my
I
God.
didn't see it coming.
I didn't want your final word. Oh. Oh, my God. You
This
guys.
is downhill already.
Poor Jonathan. He's so young and so impressionable. He was like, what is ochre?
Look, you're going to learn some things today you shouldn't learn until after your second felony.
Wait, how old are you?
Yeah.
24.
Oh, okay. I was like, is he
Oh,
20?
my God,
Are
me
we
too,
like
according to
hiding?
my IMDb.
I'm still a fetus according to IMDb. Cool. Or Allusia.
Alusia, don't you say my government name? I will sue you.
Oh, you've been in courts enough. Can you tell Jonathan what okr means?
Okr means lots of things. It can mean like girl, or it can mean girl, or it can mean girl. Did that clear it up for you? Did that clarify everything?
Perfect. I want to see nothing but okr hashtags tomorrow.
I'm like the Rosetta Stone of drag queens.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, I
Why
thought that
hasn't
was a Cardi
podcast
B
been
thing.
done?
That's what I thought.
That's a
She
drag queen
stole
thing?
it.
See, okay,
She
I
stole
don't know.
it from our community.
Rosetta Stone is, well, it's the language.
No, okr.
No,
Keep up, Allusia. She's hungover.
You can't hang over if you're still drunk.
Oh, thank you, Tony, for that informative comment
That
from
was
Kurt. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air, Facebook On The Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email, book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. You need to start liking, subscribe on all your podcast platforms and YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you can find everything for free at ontherocksradioshow.com. You want to join me on the road? Well, actually, On The Rocks will be on the seas for our debut cruise with the newest LGBT and LGBT ally cruise line, Vakaya, with their debut P-Town to Canada cruise from August 11th to the 18th with a ship full of divas. I will be doing On the Rocks as a morning show, and by morning I mean noon, with Tony Award winner Kristen Chenoweth, American Idol's Catherine McPhee, Glee's Alex Newell, Funny Man or Lady Leslie Jordan, and Lady Bunny. Go to myvikaya.com to book your tickets. Use the code word ROCKS for a VIP experience. I'm scared because I've never been sequestered that long on somewhere that I can't get kicked out.
They'll find a way. You're going to be so drunk with that crew.
I don't know, what's going to happen.
Alex Newell is fantastic.
Everybody's a little fantastic.
Yeah.
Effie, I know you're not used to microphones, but if you could get a little bit closer.
Sorry, I was already getting too comfortable.
She's going to be napping on the floor by the end of the show.
I'm gonna have to Uber to my gig later.
I love she has a gig later, by the way. I'll be singing Love Song from Titanic.
For Alexander.
Yes.
I'm booked to the Betty Ford clinic after this.
They won't take you back. Anyway, so go take this cruise. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds like magic.
And we have a one night in P-Town, in the city, and they're putting together, I guess it's the 8th quilt anniversary. So they're putting huge sections of it together.
That's awesome.
And it's Carnival in P-Town. Did you know that they have a
what
carnival?
What is P-Town?
It's gay.
Yeah.
It's where gay originated.
Where is that? From P-Town.
It's on the East Coast. I don't know.
It's the
I'm
East
going. I
Coast-
don't even know.
It's the East Coast, West Hollywood.
Oh.
That's what I hear. I've never been,
Okay.
but I hear
It's
old gay people
wall
go
to
there.
wall. It's everything is gay. The pet store is gay. They only sell gay pets, right? Gay piñatas. Beat me.
That's what I
can't
call.
say that anymore.
Well, that's what I do at nightclubs. Gay
You
piñata.
are the human piñata. Everybody gets so whack. Speaking of Alusia, let me formally introduce my guest co-host for tonight. On a
Finally make it about me.
I know. On a voluntary absence from rehab, Allusia, so good and fancy. We have to say it twice, but spell it differently. Cute, boo.
Yeah.
You have seen Allusia dominate the nightlife throughout Southern California. Model, actress, inspiration. She's none of that and more. Lover of snack items and acquitted of all charges. Welcome, Allusia.
Thank you. Oh my God, it's so good to be wherever I am right now.
Burbank.
Oh God, I take it back.
Yeah.
I had to go over a hill to get here
girl.
in a lift.
And there's don't
How
get me
did
started
you
about
survive?
Burbank.
Well, there's dead spots for my cell phone, so
Yeah. And then there's weird traffic, and then
I haven't. It's
not a fun
I
experience.
haven't gone past La Cienega in a decade.
right. Nobody will go downtown. Nobody will go to Santa Monica. We just won't do
No,
it.
it's gross.
No.
If it's more than a mile, that's an hour out of my way.
Yeah, and now we have a Shake Shack, so why do we need to go any farther? I just want to tell you, when I'm feeling a little down, and this is no joke, I always head to your Facebook page and be like, okay, what am I going to laugh at? Your one-liners are so hilarious. Now, I know you for your one-liners live in person. You know how to handle a crowd, whether they're a good crowd or a bad crowd. You
They've
make
asked me
them
to stop.
into... Well, and you flipped over tables, but you will do anything for your audience. But you're equally as funny behind the keyboard. You know how some people are funny, like when you first are dating somebody, you're not like.
What's dating?
Nobody talks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a piano. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh no,
But like
I
when
don't.
you text funny
I don't
things.
play music. I just talk trash.
Yeah.
This is going to be
mouth
my
is
new
my
inspirational quote.
You need an opera. Like we need Allusia Alusia the opera.
Oh my God, no one would survive.
No, hey, Jerry Springer. I like my men like I like my avocados, perfectly ripe.
True.
It's grinder, not Travelocity. No, you can't stay the night. And also, this one's funny. This man on the train is staring at me with a mixture of fear and worry in his eyes. I guess he's never seen a huge celebrity in Coach before. Blah, blah. How did you get into the entertainment industry, and what was like your first show?
I've been doing this for 20 years by accident. I started out doing fundraisers for Gay Youth Group. And I meant to retire from drag when I moved to Los Angeles, oddly enough, and then I couldn't get a job because it's LA.
Yeah.
So I started doing bar gigs again, and it just kind of tumbled from there, and I'm a woman again.
But you do handle all different kinds of nights, so many different genres that you physically manifest, but your whole personality, like I've seen you do Liza Minnelli, I've seen you, do Courtney Love unintentionally. But you really
I love to use Courtney Love as the example, not Lindsay Lohan, because I'm classic.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
No, Courtney Love is where it's at.
Yes, she's an icon.
Free Courtney. How come nobody did that? But you really do have a handle, and you have what I love in this industry, when you appreciate somebody has
Warrants.
a classic sense. What?
Warrants.
What? Yeah.
I thought you said warts.
Yeah,
No,
that's like,
oh my God. No,
That's a lot
no,
to share.
The doctor gave me something for that. Go to the free clinic, get tested often.
Oh, Lord. But you encapsulate like a classic Hollywood entertainer, such as like the Judy Garlands. The Bette Midler is even now considered classic, believe it or not. But you still have your pulse on like what the kids are saying and what's funny, what's happening in pop culture.
I
Like,
Google a
that's
lot of
talent.
things. I have to Google these terms now. It's alarming.
Scary. I went on a date with somebody who didn't know who Judy Garland was, or who literally didn't know the Golden Girls' names, and I didn't know what to do.
Can I cuss on this show?
Yeah, yes, it's
Fuck
$10. Okay, $10. Pay Tony on your way out.
I'm sorry, but that deserved that. How do you not know the Golden Girls, first of all? That is iconic.
That's our new generation.
Well, I don't want to be a part of it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
I need to pour more equality vodka into my cocktail.
God, yes, drop that name, honey.
Yes.
But I want to talk to you all about something.
Please don't.
Just this last week, the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, Evie Oddly, was so tired after a show, and she tweeted, she said, she was just really tired, and a fan asked her for a picture, and she respectfully declined. And then Twitter blew up. The queens that have been working in the industry for years said, that's your bread and butter. That's your responsibility to mix with your fans. But there's also a medical issue with Oddly Evie. She has a number of medical issues. She does tire easily. Her bones are achy and all that. You actually wrote, I know everyone is mad about a Drag Race lady not taking photos after the show, but I'll straight up slap you in the mouth if you approach me before, during, or after. No ingredients needed. How dare you?
It's funny because I mean it.
I know you do. How many drunken times have I come up like, hi, I'm such a fan. You're like, yeah.
You're like, who are you?
Yeah.
Do I owe you money?
Yeah. But
Am I about to get a warrant?
Yeah.
Or a wart?
But we're all involved in the entertainment industry on some level. And I know, Jonathan, after you have like a big show like you've had at New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, everybody wants to take a picture and all this, and you've just given birth literally in front of hundreds of people.
Sounds
and
painful.
all the outlets. Well, fashion can be. Have you seen Project Runway? And Effie, after performing, because you give your all, I mean, the notes that you hit and that energy, when you open your mouth and sing, it's not like I'm structurally singing. It's like whoosh, it all comes out. And Allusia, we know how you share yourself all over the stage. Is it okay that sometimes you just are tired?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm
okay?
always tired.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, of course.
7 months to prepare for one show. I don't want to take any pictures.
Oh, that's
of that.
wild. I take like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even rehearse anymore. I just go and do my thing, and it's still exhausting. To just exert all that energy onto the stage or into your projects, it's so tiring. And I'll do as many pictures as I can, but when I'm done, I'm done. And I'm sorry, but
It's hard. It takes a lot of energy. You're giving a piece of yourself to each and every person.
Yeah.
And I totally get why people are upset because I try to greet all my fans that I pay to be there. But
But you don't have money. Big joke.
I pay it with EBT. No, I definitely think it's important after a show if someone's wanting to come up and talk to you. Don't laugh at me. I'm a serious person. I'm a human being.
That was a good joke.
Allegedly.
No, but I get, it's, I think it's important to do, but it's hard to do.
It
'Cause
just
people
takes
don't realize
that one
we get
person.
tapped after a show. Like,
Yeah.
the well gets dry.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, because you want to be genuine with each person,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can't.
And if you have a show next day, like you literally have to go home. The
Yeah.
interview we have coming up with Sierra Boggess, I mean, she was doing 8 shows a week as Christine in Phantom of the Opera. You know, she was the original Ariel on Broadway, and she was running around the stage on skates. She said she physically was so tired, like she literally couldn't smile. Like that's a thing. But it just takes that one fan that was waiting to be
Yeah.
upset because nobody tweets, oh, I just took a
Right.
picture and how great. I mean, every now and then you'll
Yeah.
get that, but it's not like the 50 pictures you did take said that. It takes that one person. So
Yeah.
how do you tell somebody gently?
My cap is a creepy guy. Like, if it's a creepy guy
There's
that comes
plenty
up
out
to me.
there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
no,
that's
I mean,
where
they're-
it started. Like, this one's going to go for
The
it.
last time I had to blow up at somebody, it was a creepy guy, and he like brushed up against my tit, and I was like, I'm kind of done. And then he went and hit on my mom. Yeah.
Keep it in the family.
And then my brother. ended
hit on
up
your brother?
No, no. My brother ended up fighting this guy at my gig because that dude went and touched my mom's tit.
That
at
is
the
so
same.
I mean, that's
inappropriate.
what
I
you
was
call the
like, so
cops.
this guy is like crazy, and he's
Clearly.
going after people at my gig, starting with me, and then just like making his way like a little
Ew,
spider.
that's disgusting.
So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
next time
that's
I don't want to
something
take a
else.
picture. Like, yeah.
well, and there is
Well,
that you
that's
do
it.
need your
That's a-
personal space. So
Oh, yeah.
Some
Like, don't
fans
touch me.
don't know like about personal space.
Yeah. And if you have anxiety, like a lot of performers also like have
They're shy
anxiety.
people, yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I get tired, and it's not that I'm necessarily tired physically, I'm tired emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of done. This guy was already being weird, and then he went and took his weirdness to the next side of my family, which I didn't see happening. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it did. And then my brother fought this guy, and then we had to shut down the thing, and it was a whole
I love your
Girl,
brother.
that's a rock star moment, though.
That
It was,
is.
yeah, my brother and my best friend just like puffed up, and they were ready to murder this guy.
Yes.
Like when they do the Lifetime movie version of your life, like that's going to be a major scene.
My
My
brother
mom
will
does that.
play himself. Yeah.
My mom does that in bars when people get frisky with me. She,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Like,
that's,
oh, no,
yeah.
no, don't get
I
arrested.
love those
yeah,
people.
That's what. Yeah. Okay, let's formally get the show on the road and formally introduce our guest, Effie Passero, classically trained performer turned singer-songwriter from Modesto. She's
so
been
sorry.
singing.
I know. Same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry as well.
She's been singing and playing piano since the age of 5, and after 12 years in opera, by the way, she discovered her passion truly lies in storytelling and sharing her own life through music with a huge library of original songs. In early 2018, she was seen on the reboot, the first season of American Idol, placing in the top 20 contestants. In late 2018, she won the Hollywood Media and Music Award for her original song, Sarsaparilla. She also performed Shallow at the awards,
Yes.
and you have to YouTube this because Lady Gaga, I'm surprised you're still alive, that she didn't send the police after you afterwards.
it was incrable.
But you made it
Oh, you've seen
your
it?
own.
Oh yeah, I got stuck in a
thank
YouTube hole of you.
Yeah.
Oh golly.
It was just beautiful. Effie has been brought into session singing, working on both Leonard Cohen's and Barbra Streisand's latest albums. That's crazy, by the way. Currently finishing her first EP, which will be released in the fall. Please welcome to the show, Effie Passero.
If you're not tired of me already, because I'm
Girl,
tipsy.
no.
I know, right? I only had soup today, so I think that was
Soup?
I know
in
it's
this
too
heat?
hot.
Isn't that what this
I'm
is?
so lazy. I just had soup. That's
in
what
it.
I did.
All I've had is
And
coffee, so at least you've had something.
oh god, watch the child.
I've
guys.
had a relapse.
These 24-year-olds, you've probably never seen Golden Girls either. Why did you have soup?
Because I'm
Soup is
lazy and I
awesome.
didn't want to cook, so
Atta girl.
I just put
I like you
Progresso.
already.
Yeah, I was like, you know what?
I had
I'm gonna
soup-
spend my money on alcohol later at my gig.
I had soup
instead of-
delivered to my house today.
Oh, see, that's even more lazy.
We have air
Grubhub
conditioning.
and like
Yeah.
every food delivery service like is your best friend. Do you cook at all?
No,
Is
I
your
don't know
kitchen
where my
full of, like,
stove is.
outfits?
I don't know where my kitchen is.
Yeah.
Postmates should sponsor you,
Oh my gosh, that would be
or Uber
living the
Eats or
dream.
whatever.
Yes, any
Yeah.
of it. Taco
or
Bell.
Taco Bell. You could be like Jeffree Star, just like getting
They're
all
having
the
a new.
Taco Bell stuff.
Oh god.
I know. Don't.
Me
yeah,
and Effie are in
that's-
love now. You can
Yes,
go.
I know.
Yeah, this is our show.
Cute. Also joining us, we have Jonathan Marc Stein. Jonathan Marc Stein is a company founded by this 24-year-old Cincinnati, Ohio native who chose to pursue his passion for fashion starting at the young age of 15. His natural artistic talents combined with his family history of seamstresses, tailors, and designers for luxury department stores positioned him well for his chosen fashion career. His creative vision combined with his mechanical engineering degree uniquely positioned him to create fashionable garments that are distinctively edgy yet elegant. Leather and zippers? Oh, yes, please. Now we're friends again.
Oh,
Sorry.
Now it's your turn to leave.
His exposure as a designer has quickly evolved via showings at New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, Fashion Week Columbus, San Diego Fashion Fest, Fashion Meets Music Festival, and various charity events. This past year, he has dressed many notable celebrities featured in major publications and on Cosmopolitan Magazine's Best Dressed list. He offers quality crows and crows.
I love crows.
He's like,
Can you imagine these like fashionably well-dressed crows? It's like, we're bringing birds back, man.
magpies,
Yeah.
what's up?
For men and women alike, and his designs are equally effective for either sex, which he's known for. And his studio is currently located in Los Angeles. Please welcome Jonathan Marc Stein.
I'm sorry you're from Ohio.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We're going to take a quick break to take our first studio selfie. So just hang on for 1 second. Everybody pose. There we go.
Okay, Jonathan in there.
Jonathan, squeeze in.
Don't you know how to take a photo?
I don't.
And we're back.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic. Does that feel good? Does it, like, spiritually cleanse everyone?
That's where we put in the
Yeah.
commercials, you see, after the fact.
Oh.
Okay, I want to talk about reality TV. Do you
Oh,
guys think
yes.
reality TV has helped or hindered your industry? Of course, we have Project Runway. We have a lot of fake Project Runway shows out there. Some of them are actually really, really good and enjoyable to watch. But as behind the scenes, do you think it does your industry well?
It does not. I mean, all the friends that I've ever had on there,
went right to that answer.
They hated it. They
Yeah.
hated it. I mean, like, if you have 5 hours to make a dress, it comes out terrible, then the judges judge you for it. And, I mean, in reality, it takes me sometimes months to make one piece. And
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Like, to really do any art, like, I'm sure there's songs that have taken you years to write, to finish. That's actually really good. I never thought about it from that aspect. But do you think it sheds light on the fashion industry and gives younger designers a spotlight?
I mean, from what I've heard, they're mostly going towards people who are already semi-established or who have a following. So it doesn't really give everybody a chance. It just gives influencers a chance to already further their career. And
Next season on Project One Way, Jonathan Marc Stein.
For the music industry, though, I think that it doesn't necessarily hinder it. I think it doesn't hurt the industry. It just hurts the people that believe in the smoke and mirrors so much. Like the people from Iowa, the people from Minnesota that think that everything about Hollywood is American Idol or The Voice. They don't understand.
Your dreams come true.
Yeah, they don't necessarily understand that when you're done with this reality show, you have to keep the momentum going. They think that just because you were on the show, it's just going to help you forever. So I don't think it necessarily hurts the industry. I know it doesn't hurt the industry at all. I think it hurts the people, and then it discourages a lot of people, and that's so sad. Like, I hate seeing the people from my season just go back to their towns and be back to being their local, like, bars and stuff when they did have the talent to make it out here.
I think it's harder to keep it going than get it going.
That's exactly reality TV and we have had a lot of reality TV people on the show. Some of them go on to do their own businesses or they're in other shows or they become actors or models or whatnot. But you really do have that 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And the industry itself, like they'll have a PR rep for you. They'll have a stylist for you. As soon as you're off of the show, they're like, okay, bye. And Effie, I want to talk a little bit about your journey because you've been very open and honest. You were an assistant property manager.
Yeah.
You did the show. They paid you guys $250 a week for food, sequestered you in a hotel.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, girl. I do my research, girl. And then after the show, you literally had to like couch surf just to keep at it. And that's the reality of the show. I guess the contracts that they give you guys are horrible.
Yeah, it was that is really my only gripe. And a lot of people, when I started speaking very openly about the whole experience, they thought that I was just bitter and I was sad because I was kicked off. And I was like, no, this is my livelihood. Like, I was on the show for 1.5 months, and I gave up my lease because my lease was up, and I was like, oh, I'm doing really well. Like, I'll just get a new apartment later. And I was paying $900 a month to not live in my apartment because they didn't pay us. So
You got an apartment for $900 a month?
Well, in Playa del Rey, I had a room,
Oh.
and it was beachfront. I don't know
this was
how.
in Modesto.
I just
Like, was it a
scored-
mansion?
No, I scored. Yeah, I scored a really nice place in Playa del Rey, and I wasn't there, so I gave it up. And I spent my savings, I spent my little things, and every time we got paid for food, there were a few contestants that put all that stipend towards their rent because they had no other options. And so I was very open with like the fact that they don't pay you, and when you're off the show, they don't give a fuck. And you're just left.
Yeah.
And when I complain about it, people are like, oh, people gave up so much more than you did. And I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make my problem any less relevant to what I'm going through right now. And I was homeless technically for 2 months before I finally got my footing and was able to work and get everything situated. It really was disheartening and discouraging, but you just had to keep going. It's that perfect example of you either keep the momentum going or you go back home.
Yeah.
What certain things you do for your craft? I mean, I'm sure you're not walking home with wads of dollar bills at every single event because that just doesn't happen, especially in the drag community. There's drag queens that are literally putting stuff together with stuff around their house because it's their passion.
I'm rich.
I'm very rich, bitch. I'm Laura
Rich
Dern.
with dick.
But Effie, I want to talk about the change for 12 years in opera. What did you learn the most? Like, what was the best takeaway, and what was some of the most harmful things from that experience?
Did you just pour your third cocktail?
Yes,
probably
I
keep that
did.
close
Oh my
to
god.
me.
You
I
got, yeah, I
gotta
know. I
catch
was
up.
like, I'm just going to take the entire bottle at
Go
this
ahead,
point.
girl.
I tell you, Mr. Question.
So, opera, I still appreciate opera so much. And I talk to my voice teacher at least like 3 times a year. We just catch up, and I appreciate him so much. I learned a lot about breath control. And I don't talk nearly as fast or like controlled as you do. My God. But I learned a lot about how to control like high notes, and I can belt a high F sharp without a problem.
Yeah.
And those things I take with me everywhere. But the thing about opera that I learned very quickly, and that discouraged me from continuing school, which is why I dropped out, was that there is no pocket for creativity. If you're studying opera, you cannot make these things your own. They expect you to sing them the same way that Mozart wrote them, that Bach wrote them. Everything has to be perfect, and it has to be exactly how it was iterated the first time. And there are only so many sopranos who can sing it that get your insides all tingly,
That's
you know?
exactly right.
You know, and it made me sad. And I remember the first time I sang in front of my class. I sang a song, and I did one little thing differently, and the whole class like clutched their pearls. They were like, "Wait, you were allowed to do that?" And I said, "I don't know, I just did it." And the teacher pulled me aside later and was like, "That was amazing, but we have to take that little thing out." And I was like, "I'm dropping this shit. I don't like this anymore."
It takes the passion out
It
of
was
it.
stifling, and it was stagnant. There was no forward motion for me.
I don't see how anyone could like have a gift like that and not be artistic with it.
Exactly.
Well, and with opera, they have to be able to plug you into any opera around the world because they'll fly you to do an opera and you have 4 rehearsals, maybe 1 with the orchestra. So everything has to kind of be the absolute same. I was in the music department at
Yeah, your
Chapman
mom was telling me.
University.
Chapman's intense.
It's so intense that I had a scholarship and I left because it took every single joy. And I was like, I wanted to sing musical theater. Like, great, sing musical theater. Then they had me singing Charlie Brown, like, "You're a good man, Charlie Brown." And I'm like, who the hell's going to do that?
Reminder we need.
But it would make me cry because I felt so bad at music, and it just took the absolute joy.
Yeah.
How crushing.
Yeah, right. Go Chapman.
I went to Cal State Fullerton, so
Oh, that's a great school. Yeah.
it was okay.
I went to Jack in the Box.
Did you get tacos?
Did you get the munchie meal?
Oh my god.
That
Oh
munchie
my
meal
God.
has saved my
Oh
life.
my god. After they
No,
legalized
I
marijuana,
can't.
they got so crazy with the menu.
It's so
What
gross.
if it's called the marijuana meal?
Can't do it. You don't look
Basically-
like you eat fast food.
Oh, I ate a lot of fast food.
Oh, I was like,
God.
you just look like a summer child that needs
Yes.
like
Like
torturing or something.
He came
I
out
love
of the
that's right where you
cornfield.
go
Like,
with that. Oh, he's young. Get him.
He needs help. Anyways,
but speaking
You
of,
haven't
of
drank.
your,
Well, hold on. You have. That part.
I took my broom. But and I know
joking.
the very first like fashion show that you watched that really inspired you was Alexander McQueen.
Yeah.
oh God, I love Alexander.
Who doesn't?
Right. Trump.
Oh, well.
What a
Hello.
queen. But to
Oh, wow,
decide,
come on,
as-
impersonation.
Thank you. That's all I could do. But starting as so early and making that your decision, and then who decides at 15, like, I'm going to be in fashion now, and people took you seriously. By 18, you were actually you were putting together your own stuff. Now you did this. We were talking about education. You're a self-taught sewer. You actually do everything from the patterns and all that yourself, and you never went to school for that. You did go to school for engineering. Has that
That's just crazy.
But, and I have to say this, your designs, Tony, can we play a little bit from one of his runway shows? Your designs,
That's me.
yeah. There we go. Go ahead and play it with the sound off. But your designs have a unique structure in terms of their edges and their texture. And so as we're looking at this, and I do have to, I have to remark, for men and women, your designs are absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Now this
I was,
comes without
shopping on his website this morning.
Yeah. Now, did the industry give you any guff for not having a formal education?
No, not at all. I just got right into it, and I mean, it took a while after my first no-name show that I kept like pushing and pushing, and finally I got a spot at New York Fashion Week, and
How do you just get a
That's
spot? Yeah, like
amazing.
how does that
Oh
happen?
my god.
I guess there's like scouts just like in every other industry, and somebody saw me, and
Fuck you.
Right? What are we doing wrong?
Okay, but tell
I'm
me,
doing
like,
this show.
like, what is that first step though to get noticed? And here you are, so adorable. Look at
you
this
look
dress.
like
Oh my God, give me that dress.
baby.
Yeah, that dress is
That's beautiful,
stunning,
yeah.
and
She's
it's so
16,
timeless.
so-
She's 16.
Oh, you cradle robber.
God, do you know how old I feel today? Like it's not even funny. But how do you get to that point you get noticed? So what's the first step when you say, okay, I'm going to put together, do you put together an outfit and have somebody wear it? Do you put together a line? I really wouldn't know what the first step to be like, okay, I'm going to do this.
well, in the beginning it was just mostly creating collections, and nobody really people liked it, but they didn't like promote it after the first and second, and finally I had like thousands of people show up at my shows, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
You and me both.
I know.
Okay.
How?
Teach us your ways,
Yeah.
please.
I work at Hamburger Mary's.
You
Show
do?
up there.
What?
People show up.
Oh yeah, but
Oh.
it doesn't fit
I
thousands.
need to come see you.
You should. We do
I've
brunch
never.
every weekend.
I saw it like a year ago, probably, but I don't think you were there.
I've been
probably
I've been
would
there for 8
remember you.
years.
Oh, then I probably did see you.
But they have like 7 shows a week, different
Okay.
different days.
Yeah.
So depending on what
it was
day you
on.
went.
It was on a Sunday brunch. So would you have been there?
Maybe I usually do Saturday brunches.
Oh, okay. I still need to see you though,
Yes, you can come and check us out there on. Yeah.
Welcome.
because now that
Well-
we're married and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Alexander, you're
No,
the other woman.
congratulations, real quick though. Like that's super.
That is incredible.
That's
Thank
you.
amazing.
It's-
I'm thinking back to when I was 24, which is only 3 years ago. But when I was 24, what was I doing? I was sad,
Oh,
not doing
I'm
anything.
still sad.
I know we're all sad.
I moved to I moved
Okay.
to LA at 24, and I still am not successful.
How long ago did you move here?
like 14 months ago, so just about a year.
Oh, but a baby.
Welcome,
That is so
welcome to Los
crazy.
Angeles.
Congratulations.
Now, how do you play with the dichotomy that you have to keep your finger on the pulse of like what's trending, although your designs don't fit any genre? It's not like, oh, this is what's happening this year, and so all the designers are doing bell bottoms. Like your line is not that way at all. And there's, if you're on YouTube, there's a lot of his fashion shows that you can look at. But how do you play with that mix? It's like you have to be relevant, but you also have your own distinct style. How does that work in your creative process?
Well, I make it a point never to look at trends. I mean, like I look at shows to see like what people are liking this season, but I never ever follow what like if they like metallics or polka dots or whatever. And sometimes it just happens that I come up with the same idea that other people do, but it's definitely hard. I mean, before every collection I make, I sketch everything out, and it gets harder and harder because all my ideas keep getting used up, and eventually, I in the middle of sleeping, I come up with something amazing and start patterning it out and making it, and people love it. So.
And you do your designs from start to finish.
I do,
Like
yeah.
I said, you're actually doing your patterns, and you're actually going to be in Dubai. You're actually going to
Yeah.
be
My first
international, which is
international show,
crazy.
yeah.
Okay. that's
Road
fine.
trip.
I'll just go home. Like I feel so unsuccessful right now.
But don't you have an EP coming out soon?
I do.
Am I jumping your gun?
No,
No,
but
I mean I can talk about it.
but I really want to talk about this. Your first audition, and Tony, can we take a peek at her very first audition on American Idol? Of course, this is in front
I
of
can't wait to talk about this when we're done.
Lionel
showing it.
Richie. So,
Look how cute.
Yeah.
Look at that
Can we hear-
mohawk,
yeah.
though. Such a good mohawk. I miss it.
I was hoping that we'd be matching.
I know.
So good.
First notes out of her mouth.
Is that where they come from?
They came out of my tits. That's what they're useful
I
for.
sing from my spleen.
And she's like, oh shit.
Chills down my spine when I listen to you.
Katy Perry literally looked at her agent like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Do I quit now or?
Right. So, but I want to just know, like, this passion. Do you see how her mouth is so open and this tone is just coming out?
Yes, the sounds that come out of the word hole. Brilliant.
English.
Oh, and this idiot.
Good. Luke Bryan, looking
Yeah.
clueless as
Yeah,
always.
As always. Thank you, Tony. That was an original song. Did you have to fight with the producers to say, hey, I want my first audition to be an original song? Because they even had to drag out the piano.
This was crazy. This is one of the craziest things, honestly, because when I auditioned for the show, I thought like it's cover or die. Like I have to do a cover.
That's what
or
I thought.
I'm fucked, you know?
Yeah.
And when I got casted, they reached out to me and they found me on the YouTube and that whole thing.
So you did get discovered, too.
Yeah. In a sense, I auditioned as a joke and I sent them a YouTube link.
Haha.
So basically, I was like, hey, here's me. I'm a dweeb. And I sent them, like, I like dinosaurs and I'm a dork. And here's a video of me singing. And they texted me back like 20 minutes later. Can we have your phone number, please? I was like, okay.
What a goof.
So then a month later, I auditioned for the producers. And it was in this really tiny room. I had no idea what was going on. And I was just there. And I'm in this room surrounded by producers and the whole team. There was like 8 people. And I sang the original first because I was like, you know what? Why not? Just do it. And if they give good feedback, awesome. If they don't, then I know this song is to go in the closet forever. And then I did my my cover, which was When Doves Cry, second. So I sang that song, Troubled Mind, and they just like lost it. They loved it because at the in the room they were just at one point somebody went woo, and I thought that they were saying to stop, so I was like, what? Like I was like, I go keep going, and they're like, yeah, keep going. So I was like, okay. So then I sang my cover of When Doves Cry, and they were like, oh my god, we wish we could afford Prince on the show, but we can't. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then they handed me this piece of paper.
But Ryan Seacrest couldn't break out his wallet. Like, come on,
right?
Ryan.
Like, here's $20 million.
Yeah.
Play When Doves Cry. But they handed me this piece of paper. They were like, do you like Katy Perry? And I said, I don't mind her. Why? And they said, well, we think she's going to love you. And I was like, oh, I was auditioning for the show? Like, I'm on the show now? And they were like, yeah, you're going to Hollywood. I was like, nobody told me what was happening.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But so when it came to that audition, when I talked, because there is a music supervisor who goes through all your choices with you, she was like, you know what, sing the original song. I was like, seriously?
That's a huge opportunity.
Seriously? And I've never sung it since. Because
Really?
it's one of those that I just kind of like tossed as soon as I wrote it. I was like, it's not that good of a song. But but it got me
It
so
got you to
far.
Hollywood, like, unanimously. Like,
I know. And that was that whole experience real quick. Like, I would love to talk about it. If anyone's watching that wants to audition for the show.
People do watch the show, Effie.
No. If anyone's watching that wants to audition for reality TV shows. No, I'm not a dick nugget. Okay, so
A new song by Effie.
So if anyone's watching that wants to audition for reality TV, like, I had the mentality going in. I was like, you know, I've lived in LA. Don't go in there expecting your dreams to come true and have them like tell you all your greatest fantasies and all these things. But when I sang that original song, they responded so beautifully and they had really wonderful things to say, and it overwhelmed me. And that is the one thing about reality TV is they take advantage of those things. Like, they know that it's an original song.
And they own it.
And yeah, so it's like they tell everyone how to respond and how to react, and then it helps you react, and then they get this semi-organic reaction when in reality they planned it all. So that's the one thing I look back on now when I look at that audition. I'm like, that was all fake.
Reality TV, not real. Get out.
I know. It's a thing.
But your first album is original songs. Is that a little chancy? Because your fans have been waiting for your album.
Oh my God, they've been waiting. Thank you so much. Anyone who's tuning in from my Facebook, thank you so much for waiting. It's been a ride, and it's only because the person that they asked me to be on TV is not who I am in my music. Yeah. So it's been hard for me to transition for my fans because they're so stuck on what they saw on American Idol. They think that I'm this rock star. I mean, I dress like, I've got this whole thing going on, but my music is very like Massive Attack-y, Nine Inch Nails meets female artist kind of thing. So it's a slow transition, and it's coming to full head right now. So I'm so excited to release it.
And you guys, we actually have a special treat. You were going to give us a little sneak peek.
Oh, God.
Live, by the way.
Yes.
So let's take a quick break while we get set up for that. We just took our break. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to honor you with a sneak peek of a track from Effie's new album.
This is the title track.
Title track. Now, do you want to explain a little bit, or do you want to sing it and then explain it?
I'll explain it real quick.
Yeah.
So it's called Love Me Well, and it's the title track of the song, and I feel like it'll reach audiences far and wide, women, men, anybody. If things are hard, it doesn't matter, just love me well. Like, we can go through all these bumps and all these hardships, but we can overcome them together, and everyone just wants to be loved correctly. And I'm going to sing the first verse and the chorus and keep the rest for when it's debuted. Don't want to give away the goods. You tell me that you love me. Well, how can I be sure? I've heard it all before, 1,000,000 times or more. I'm tired of all the maybes of this revolving door. Oh baby, we need saving. This cannot be ignored. Oh, and I never asked for the world to be handed to me on a silver platter. Oh, I only asked to be the girl that you do your sinning with, and all that matters. Oh, you can keep your diamonds, I can buy them myself if you want me to stay. You better love me well. You better love me well.
That was live, by the way. Lord have mercy.
Drunken live. Not even.
Is there any other kind? You sound so amazing. Your voice gives me chills.
Oh, thank you
So
so
good.
much. Thank you.
And is that passion like at the higher registers as well? When it's like a tidal wave
Oh, thanks.
of emotions.
Sometimes I'm worried. I feel like I'm like a screech owl, because of YouTube comments. That's the other thing.
Why are you reading the
No
comments?
Can't read the comments.
Don't ever read the comments.
They
That's-
warned
that's
us about that
suicide.
too. No, it wasn't me. It was my mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
We know.
Comment. I'm like, what? She's like, someone called you an owl. I'm like, I
Beautiful,
don't.
majestic creature.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm like,
If it's good enough for
owls-
Harry Potter, it's good enough for the
owls
music
are
industry.
If that
I'm Hedwig.
if that is the worst thing you've gotten in your comments, I can tell you some.
No, some people
stories.
thought I
Some people
was
say something-
transgender. Some people thought I was butch as shit, and I was like, "Who the fuck cares either way?"
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
listen
Right,
to
just
my
listen.
voice,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I won my favorite real quick. My favorite was on Facebook. I got this message from a very older woman. I want to say like 70s, 80s territory. And if you watched my whole American Idol discography at this point, then you saw that I wore very interesting dresses.
Yes.
And this woman, she seriously writes to me and she goes, "Honey, your voice is so special, but do you really think you have the body for those dresses?"
Wow.
And I was like, I have the tits for those dresses. So what?
It's like, go back to your Depends, lady. Squish, squish. I was taking a bath.
Oh no!
But yeah, I was like, that was the weirdest one for me.
Yeah, and so let's just talk about your style, because your style definitely was a point of contention. I thought your style was brilliant because it wasn't like, I'm an American Idol, let me be pop star. It was, this is who I am.
Yeah.
It was so unique, and talking about fashion, that's what somebody will respond to, is somebody that feels confident in their garments.
Oh my gosh.
We did Out at the Fair in San Diego together, and I
Yeah.
noticed you, because we took the train down.
Yeah.
Even though we weren't like sitting, like I didn't know you at that point. And I thought, God, that girl's got style.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and then you were backstage. I'm like, oh, she's backstage. Oh, maybe she's a fan. I was like, oh, girl. Then you went on stage.
Surprise,
I know.
bitch.
You went on stage, and you could hear a pin drop, and there was thousands of people there. And it was, no matter whether you were belting a song or you were doing one of your ballads, you literally, everybody was
That
frozen.
was a really neat gig, honestly.
Well, the audience loved you for being there. Old, young, gay, straight,
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
It was awesome.
It was great. But your fashion was...
One more. I'm sorry. I'm like, now I'm talking. But to add on to the fashion thing, one other thing that will remain in my memory forever was all of my tattoos. We had to film a commercial for the show, which was just us singing the theme, like in like pentatonic style, and the ABC like directors or somebody very important had to come down to the studio to look at each and every tattoo to make sure that I wasn't satanic.
Yeah. I thought there was, yeah.
Because you come off as very satanic.
You know, I got the skulls, I got the bald head. Why not? Let's just do it.
American Horror Story.
Effie Passero.
I love it.
I'd watch that.
I would
We would
too.
all watch it,
I'd
yeah.
be very interested to see what happens.
Learning from big projects that we've done, Jonathan, heading into New York and LA Fashion Week, that's no small thing. The very first time, what were the biggest mistakes that you made that you learned from for the next Fashion Week?
Definitely start working way ahead of time, because a lot of the time, I work, I make cute outfits, and then like the ones that are my finale, my showstoppers, I usually wait until the last minute because it has to be perfect and special and memorable. And I always finish until like the last second. Like the last time my flight was at like 5 a.m. for New York, and I finished at I think 2 a.m.
Oh no!
my God.
Close,
Cutting
yeah.
a deadline.
Really close, yeah.
Now, can it be a little lonely being the fashion designer, because you have your crew that you have to be the boss for? Also, since you do a lot of your own creations from start to finish, you're in your head a lot. Then when you do the show, I know your family is very supportive, so I'm not talking about being alone in that sense, but in your creative, you're kind of a sole worker. As a musician, we have our band or we have other singers that we can work with, but it still can be a lonely road. But this is different, because after the fashion show's over, people applaud, and then there's like, okay, what now? Is it a lonely journey?
I kind of choose it to be, because, in fashion you have to be 100% committed, because before the show, that 15 minutes of fame is what people remember, but it's 7 months of straight work, and as soon as you finish one show, you start into the next one. And but I enjoy it, I like being not alone, but it's just, it allows me to be more creative. I don't have any distractions, and overall, it's been really successful, so I might as well keep doing it.
Now, you're very personal in terms of like your interviews are always focused on your apparel. Your social media is very focused on your business, which I mean, that's your brand.
Yeah.
But the personal aspects, we know nothing about. What would be most surprised to learn about you?
I bet you're a nerd. Are you a nerd?
In a good way.
Is there a bad nerd? There's no bad nerd.
There's no bad
I love
nerds.
nerds.
I mean, people usually like what she said, like people don't always like, your aesthetic doesn't always prove to be what you hope it to be. I mean, everybody behind the scenes always think, because my parents and my managers, they're all at every show helping out. People always assume
awesome.
I'm a helper and
I wish
not
my
the
parents
actual
loved
designer.
me.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, and you've talked about some of the struggles with your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big thing. So I'm very intrigued at like how that dynamic works with your parents. Like how do you separate the parent from the manager? Is there a defining line?
On the
or
scene,
are they that
I'm
nice?
allowed to yell at them. They don't like it, but they take it because they know You know,
But it's not
really
like
stressful.
it's not like a fuck you kind of thing. It's just like, please get
But
this done.
sometimes-
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you can say that.
yeah,
because
no,
you're
I
really-
do that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, especially
don't know
behind
how
the
s-
scenes of the show, I'm always super stressed. So,
course.
when you're stressed, you yell more, you're
Yeah.
more nitpicky.
And plus, it's easier to take it out on people that are your family because you know that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they'll love me anyway.
Yeah.
Required.
Yeah, well, especially in that sense, like I'm very envious in the sense that you guys have that connectivity so that you can trust each other enough.
Yeah.
You know, like so many families, like your mom's awesome, by the way. I would have never even guessed that she was your mom because she's so chill and she's just here.
She has her moments. I remember
Well-
she was driving. I was doing a show at the Roxy for a year, and this was years ago. We had to drive from Orange County, and traffic was horrible, and we were supposed to be on KDLA in the morning. And I was so mad at her because I just blamed her for everything. I called her a bitch for the first time in my life.
Did she
I was like,
die?
Wait a minute.
Did you die?
So I said, God damn it, bitch. And then I opened my eyes. My head was against the... She literally just turned and she was like, wow. She slapped me so hard. I was like... And then I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. But it was such a weird play. It's like, Mom, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
The family aspect is always really hard when you
Yeah.
depend on them, and they realize that your trajectory is like so far beyond what they actually expected of you. So once it gets to that point, you know, it's fair
And they know your
game,
bad
I
habits,
think.
too. They
Yeah.
know if you're like, you know, you
It's
should be
fair
doing
game.
that.
Yeah, but that's the great thing. I mean, since they've been with me through the whole journey, they know what kind of clothes I like to make, what I expect my quality to be. So
And then
I appreciate
attitude during
when they
shows.
tell me, oh, this looks like shit. So I tear it apart. I start over. But I know that
I
they
get very
have-
defensive.
Yeah, but you just got to keep it to
Oh,
yourself.
I'm like a dragon. I'm like, fuck.
No, I get very...
Same.
My mom was like, you talk too
Same.
much, or you talk too high, or you drink too much. How dare you?
I know.
What kind of
My
mom tells you that
starts
you drink too
talking.
much?
I tell my mom,
The one that
like,
has to pick you up sometimes.
I'm like, you sound like Polly the parrot. Can you just like calm it down a second? I know
That's
I talk
nice,
a
though.
lot, but I'm like, God, you are very abrasive when I speak. Just
My parents are very loud, and they don't like when I tell them to calm down, but I do it anyway. You know.
Oh,
But you're a very calm person.
yeah,
though.
you're very. Like,
I want to see you
Not
backstage
chill.
10 minutes before the show.
I
That's what I
know.
want to
I'm
see.
so
I would love to.
intrigued.
I would pay money to watch you have a meltdown.
Yeah.
I know at this point.
Like
I don't,
actual cat.
Because I
You
know,
know what I think
Devil
would be
Wears Prada is
funny?
one of your favorite movies.
is, yeah.
Oh, see, and I think a meltdown from him would be like one of our good days.
Well, yeah. See,
Could
when
you
I
please
melt,
not do that?
when I melt down, things catch fire. I'm breaking things.
That's
I'm
not even a joke,
hitting
by
my-
the way.
I never let the public see my meltdowns. They're always in my studio with my employees, and you know I pay them.
I wish
so
I had
they
employees.
Don't say anything.
What
But
are
you-
we doing wrong?
so much.
I know.
How about the third glass of vodka?
Gee.
I'm gonna have a little bit more equality to
Yeah, when you
celebrate
pour it,
how
when you
we're
pour
doing
it, when you
things so
pour it.
wrong.
No, but you have fashion in your family.
Yeah, my great grandmother before you know what Bergdorf's is.
Oh, yes, girl.
Well, before they like started carrying like designer brands like Prada and Gucci, they actually had their own in-house brand.
Oh, I
which
didn't-
is
I didn't
all
know
they used
that.
to do.
Wait,
And she,
Bergdorf?
yeah,
Sweetie, fashion, sweetie.
it's like Barney's or Saks.
yeah.
Okay.
I know nothing about fashion.
Sure.
So she
That
was the
sounds-
head.
I was like,
she
just
was
hand
the
me
head
the
designer
bag.
for them.
Like, I
back
don't
then.
know.
That's great. So, I mean, like, it's literally in your blood.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking it would be hard for, like
Shawn Mendes.
children of actors, you know, because you have all that pressure on you. Speaking of outfits, we actually got some questions about you. Do you put together your own outfits? Cheers.
I do. I
Cheers,
can't afford a
boys.
stylist.
Because you have a very good handle on like what fits your body. Some of the queens that
But
come out
honey,
there
everything
don't.
fits my body. I'm glamorous.
You're skinny as shit.
Thank you.
Can I have your
Well,
body?
But he
please?
shares his
With
fitness
my
journey too,
tits
though.
and your
Oh, yeah,
body,
like,
we
I've
would be
been-
unstoppable.
I've been working out the beastly amounts. I'm not as young as my IMDb says, so it
I'm
takes a
gonna
lot of
guess
work
you're
at this age.
32.
How dare you?
29.
35.
Oh. What?
Are you really?
Should have said
Yeah.
thank you.
Are you really?
Like
Yeah.
Good
rude.
for you, girl.
Thanks.
Here
I've
I
had
was
a lot
thinking
of
I was
work
a
done.
criminal.
You are a criminal. I was going for, well, my doctor said I looked 28 now, and I believed him.
But what I love about you is that you do share your journey. You know, we're in such an age of put your best foot forward, and for some brands it makes sense. Like you have an high-end fashion line, you're promoting a new album. It makes sense for people not to see you like, girl, I'm having
Oh,
a bad
no.
day.
I don't like that.
Well, I believe in being true. Like,
Same.
my career is all about smoke and mirrors, and I think it's important to let people know I'm not actually that.
But you're so funny about it. I do want to take a look at one of your performances from the Abbey.
Oh. when I actually did something this time.
Yeah. No.
I haven't done. Well, I started in LA.
Of all time, by the way. With the double time twins, of course. But look at that look. Like, that's... But you look so different in every single outfit you do. From the red hair to everything.
Well, it's like Build-A-Bear, but Build-A-Bitch.
Yeah. And there's that comedy that you have. You have such... It's like Charlie Chaplin had such control over his face and what he was doing, like a Buster Keaton. You have a very good sense of comedic timing and then just outlandish. I have literally see you fall off tables on purpose.
I have a question for you as a drag queen. Do you feel like there's an overwhelming like intensity of singing drag queens? I feel like that's kind of a thing that's coming through.
There are some singing drag queens like Vicky Vox, Lady Red that do it well. There are some drag queens that shouldn't sing live.
Oh,
yes,
for sure.
I have a list. I'm gonna read them to you right now. Just kidding.
Like I do music. I like to sing in studio, not live.
And you do have a single out, which is
Yes,
on
I
YouTube,
do.
by the way. Yes.
I have music out. I'm actually working on my next EP right now.
Are you really?
Yes.
Wait, hold on.
I haven't recorded music in like 3 years.
Okay, when you do a music video that need like a shystery agent.
Oh my god. That's
Fashion by
amazing
Jonathan
though.
Marc Stein.
Yeah.
This
And
is
if
all
you need
gonna
like
happen.
Oh yes, you can style me. Oh my god, I would
Yeah.
love if you came in and
I'll
did
just
some
come, like,
some
twerk in the
operatic
background.
atmosphere
Yeah,
notes.
let's do it. That's amazing though.
Yes.
I mean, I just honestly, because I'm very, not necessarily ignorant, but I'm very uneducated in
I was going to
the
call you
drag.
both.
Well, same, yeah. In the drag world. So whenever I see a singing drag queen, I'm always very impressed. But the singing drag queens are not always the best. And I will go and see a show and be like, this woman totally outshone everybody else that could sing or whatever.
I think if you're going to do it, you need to be able to do it 100%.
Yes.
You can be a singing drag queen, but if you're not a singer that happens to be a drag queen, you probably shouldn't
Like
rely
Renee
on that.
Zellweger in the
you
Judy
shouldn't-
Garland
you
biopic.
shouldn't- Yeah, you shouldn't
Yeah.
try or whatever.
Like,
But I think drag queens need to. We've gotten, and this is, I love RuPaul, and we're talking about reality TV, and I think it's done well. But it's also hindered where the drag queens can have people style them. They pay $5,000 for a gown, and they sit there and like, aren't I a great superstar? No, that's a great outfit.
Yeah.
And you can speak to that because you performed with RuPaul girls. You are famous on your own level without being on the show. But I
And they
think
don't
that
pay
you're
for my
like
outfits.
a real girl. Well, that's exactly it. And this is what you're competing with in getting booked and sharing the spotlight with some of these queens.
I just charge less.
But I appreciate when a drag queen can actually sing because the whole
Exactly.
idea of female impersonation that has evolved into drag came from having that skill. We're talking about old style French cabaret where you had to be able to do something.
It helps to have something to rely on. Life is a cabaret, old chum, so have some goddamn talent.
Those broad ass shoulders.
I love when he does Liza, by the way. He
I
did
know,
Liza at
it's
Santa
so
Monica Pride. I was like,
good.
Oh yes, I love doing
Oh,
Liza
how
because
was that? I was supposed
was
to be
cute,
there,
it was
but
fun.
I couldn't.
You were? I was the MC.
I know.
It was
and
the first ever
and
Santa
I
Monica
couldn't
Pride.
be there.
yeah, I thought for the first Pride, it was great.
it was
because it
very,
was
what I
like
heard.
family vibe.
it was family vibe, and it wasn't putting us in West Hollywood. We're already proud. It
Yeah.
literally families were walking by, and people got involved or they didn't get involved, but that's what Pride is about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of toned it down for the crowd too.
Oh, it was very difficult to be on the microphone at a family event because I don't have a CBS mouth. I'm an HBO girl.
I'm a Showtime girl. I'll just even go the further, like the late
so
night
you
Showtime.
nasty. You one of them
Yeah.
hoes I hear about.
That's why my shorts are so short.
Jonathan, what TV shows and movies like inspire you fashion wise?
Definitely Devil Wears Prada. I mean,
Yeah.
there's also the lesser known After the Ball, which is one of my favorite. It has Big from what's it called? Sex and the City.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, did you see the one? I cannot remember the name right now, but the one with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, Phantom Threads.
Yes.
I've not, no.
No, I heard it was fantastic.
You should watch that. Oh,
Yeah.
he just bugs the crap out
He's
of me.
okay.
I feel like you get bothered
First
by a
Tom
lot of
I get
Hanks
it. You're
and now
yeah,
Daniel
it's like,
Day-Lewis.
I get it. You're a good actor. Okay, like don't hit me over the head with it. Just act.
Do you hate Kate Blanchett too?
No, love her. Did you see the
Okay.
new comedy she has coming out with Kristen Wiig?
What?
Comedy.
With Kristen Wiig?
Yes!
That's a very odd
What
pairing.
comment? Jojo Rabbit? That
no,
one?
No, it's called Bernadette.
No.
You couldn't be further off.
Yeah, I was like, Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi.
Okay, and we're done. Okay, literally, so we have to wrap up. Coming up, we have our interview with Sierra Boggess, who is heading into Hollywood Bowl Into the Woods with a huge slate of stars.
Oh my god, the kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah, do you know he has an amazing voice? He
Oh my
played
God,
Gavroche
he's amazing.
in Les Miserables before he
Oh.
did any of Stranger Things.
But
Must be
can I
nice to have
spill
so
the
much
tea on
talent.
him real quick?
Yeah.
He's starting a reality TV show.
Oh wow.
Exploiting a pranked like Ashton Kutcher kind of prank show
Oh, no,
about
we cycle back to
people
that.
who are trying to get jobs.
What? That's
Yeah,
rude. I'm
he's
sorry.
producing it.
Let the hate emails begin.
Yeah,
Okay, real fast. So
go on with
we're
it.
leaving. We're going to do rapid fire real fast, and then give your social media handles, and then we're going to head into our interview with Sierra Boggess. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Yep.
Allusia, you have to roast, and I mean eviscerate any celeb. Who would it be? And I don't consider Trump a celeb.
If I had to roast any celebrity,
I mean, like,
myself.
tear them apart.
Tear them apart. Oh, gosh. All of them. Let's start with Hillary Clinton. I don't know why I went there, but.
What?
Whoa.
No,
Wow.
you
All
roast,
the Democrats
you
rise.
roast who you love.
True. All right.
But, like, I want
Like,
you
have
to
you ever
tear
watched
somebody apart. Like, I don't want
Like
you to be nice.
viciously?
Yeah.
Like, you want me to do that right now
Yeah.
off the top of my
No,
head?
no.
Because I've
like,
been drinking.
Like, what celeb would it be?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes.
Yes. I can
I
totally
can
see
get- I
that.
can get
Yep.
that.
And she's like, it has to be vegan, but you can roast me.
Oh my
She
gosh,
came
she's
out with
absurd.
stickers, dude. Stickers.
Didn't she want you to like put stones in your pussy?
No, you had to buy like
There's
$400
no room.
pepper to make like water soup.
She's stupid.
Yeah, she's dumb.
What
Okay,
is that goop?
a drag song that needs to just go away. It's been overperformed and it's done.
The Todrick one.
Oh,
would be
Sissy
fun.
That Walk.
Oh yeah. Okay, you are creating a challenge on RuPaul's Drag Race. What is the challenge?
Alcohol poisoning.
I really love that. Actually,
drinking.
I really love that. I really love that. Craziest thing that has happened to you on stage?
Nothing is crazy in my world.
Or maybe like a fan has
made
done.
out with a lesbian?
Okay, that's not too crazy.
So I have hope. I'm just kidding. I'm not a lesbian,
Come
but
over.
I'm straight. So we're one step
Yes.
closer.
You know, I'm not even sure what gender I am.
I don't think the world knows. Your doctor's like, what do I put on the birth certificate? Worst date you've ever had. This actually was an email that was sent. So this probably was the worst date you ever had. And he was just wondering if like you're going to say
Oh
it.
God, I bet it's this guy. I had this guy over for dinner one night. I cooked this guy a whole roast chicken.
That is so nice.
Made him rosemary
hella
potatoes.
nice.
And then he's like, I gotta go home. I gotta get up early in the morning. So I went to the bar, and there he is hitting on someone else.
Oh, that
And
is
I
bad.
actually
That's
cooked.
bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
People don't realize that you actually are a romantic.
I vary, but I like to hide that.
Yeah.
Behind an icy, drunken
Yeah.
exterior.
Lucia, where can our listeners and viewers find you?
You can find me at the Abbey every Monday for lip service. You can find me every Saturday at Hamburger Mary's for brunch at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. You can follow me on social media at Allusia to go. That's ALLUSIATOGO on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me on Ripley's Believe It or Not and Catch Me on Cops.
You're amazing.
Oh, it's not even a lie.
You.
When your album comes back, I want you to come back.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I've had a hoot with you. You're welcome back anytime.
I've been sitting on these songs for like the last 3 years, just
God,
waiting.
it's time.
Yeah.
It's
I feel
time.
like we're gonna be on the same show together.
And
Where
we'll
are they
be
now?
watching
Both.
from-
There you
yeah.
go.
Trifecta.
And like the two of us will just be watching. Okay.
I
mean,
thought
is
I'll
that
dress
any
them. You
different
can
than
watch.
an-
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Go ahead.
I'll go.
Jonathan, worst fashion trend that you yourself fell victim to?
Nothing. I'm always fast.
Have you looked at yourself today?
Lagerfeld, sweetie.
The white
Givenchy
pants.
Goutte, darling.
At least I'm wearing clothes.
Oh, he just threw you shade.
You don't have to.
I'm like, I'm wearing tight.
Oh my God,
You can't see it.
I'm so in love with this answer.
Hold on.
Nothing. You have to create a label for a fashion line for senior citizens. What is the label called that you're designing?
Geriatrics.
And it-
Dependable.
it's probably spelled like with an X or a K at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want the whole line right
Yeah.
now.
Squish, squish. Send
Before
that
we
to
go.
your 8-year-old YouTube lady. I have something for you, honey. Worst outfit you wear in real life on your days off. Don't say nothing.
Sweats.
Okay.
Aw, that's
Are they
not
gray sweats though? Then you're winning. Nobody looks bad in gray sweats. Even
yeah.
homeless people. It's
Yeah, I
like,
have to
oh,
wear sweats. I mean, I also all sweat to death.
Sweats
Yeah.
are amazing.
Okay. I just wondered, like, fashion, like you're afraid like a paparazzi and you're like at home. No? Okay. What do you miss the most about Ohio?
Nothing.
The trees.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
I mean, my family comes to visit me so often. I don't need to go back.
Really? Okay. All right.
Basically live with me.
Wow.
A piece of clothing you would design strictly for yourself.
Something with leather jacket probably.
Okay, yeah, and your fashion is awesome. Jonathan, where do you want to send our viewers and listeners to follow you and find you?
Facebook and Instagram at Jonathan Marc Stein, JONATHANMARCSTEIN. Or I also
Three
have
names, girl.
my celebrity showroom in Beverly Hills, or I also have a few stores nationwide.
Work.
And my first store in Dubai. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Are we
insane.
in love? I
Yeah.
feel like we're kind of like
You and him?
no, like us.
Us. All as a,
Like
are we
all-
a th-
as
are
a
we
collective.
Is it because I'm Latino?
feel-
I'm left out. I'm not included
No,
in any of
I
these
feel,
scenarios.
no, I
You're
feel like
implied.
we're all very
You could
impressed
cook
with
the food.
I
Jonathan.
have that effect on people.
I feel like Jonathan spoke the least, but he was the most
I feel like I would
effective.
feel comfortable, like, hey, I've got to go to the Oscars, and you need to outfit this, and I would be comfortable with like your
just
suggestions.
whatever.
Yeah.
Seriously, he's so chill.
Yeah. All right, Effie.
Oh God.
You have to record a duet with a musician who has passed. Who is it?
Aretha Franklin.
Oh, that's a
yes.
good
Yeah,
one. I have opera, but make it your own with your signature style. What opera would it be, and what role?
Deflator Mouse, Adele.
Okay.
I played that role before, and it was treacherous. I would love to put my spin on it.
You're so stupid.
And that's not even real because it's commercial.
No, she has trouble
No,
with the lotion.
everything that
Got
happens. In,
eczema.
everything that happens in Hollywood is real. Believe
totally
those
true.
commercials.
Except Mario Lopez's
Oh
career.
my God.
Effie, tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Effie Passero, EFFIE PASSERO.
Yes,
And
spell it
that's-
out.
Yeah, that's my name. Anywhere. So just good luck.
And look for her album coming out in September.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
God, please.
I cannot wait
Just
for
make
it.
it happen.
You'll be back, and
Yeah,
you
we'll
can
make
have a
it-
big
yeah,
LA
we'll talk
party
about it
and,
more.
and all
I'll
that.
rush right now.
Oh,
and we can do the same
no. Okay,
release.
wait, hold on real quick. I'm going to announce it right now. The EP release is November 30th. Universal Studios is hosting it.
Which
Oh
is
my God, you're
literally
so
right
famous.
next door.
So it's gonna be a nice thing. Yeah, Universal Studios. Free
And it's the perfect
event.
holiday
Awesome.
gift too, by the way.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Free parking, free everything. So
Oh.
just come be.
We're
there.
going. We're all going.
Just because of the free parking.
I know, right?
We're
You
going
don't
for
have
the
to pay
open bar.
$50.
Thank you so much to our guest. Thank you, Tony Sweet.
Again.
Hang on, because we have our interview with Sierra Boggess coming up. Also, don't forget who's coming up on the Rocks. We have comedian actress Margaret Cho, Will and Grace actor Brian Jordan Alvarez, Big Brothers Corey Brooks, America's Got Talent Michael Paul, 8-time Academy Award nominee for makeup V. Neal. The movies that she has worked on will boggle your mind. We also have Days of Our Lives, actor Jason Cook, and the keeper of the Star Trek legacy, Rod Roddenberry, is coming in. On the Rex is the place to be every week. Hold on for our interview with Sierra Boggess. Everybody say goodbye. Bye.
Oh God.
I don't know where my camera is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get a little classy. We're here with Sierra Boggess, an Olivier-nominated actress, known not for just reinventing the role of Miss Christine Daae in Lord, Andrew Lloyd Webber, the Phantom of the Opera, but for Lloyd Webber himself saying, she's the best. The best Christine, certainly. And I bet he sounded just like that when he said it, too. Boggess portrayed the role in Broadway, West End, and the televised 25th anniversary concert productions of Phantom to millions, by the way. I saw it in the movie theater. She made her Broadway debut as Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid. A white mermaid? Get out! Receiving Drama Desk and Drama League nominations, as well as Broadway.com Audience Award for Favorite Female Breakthrough Performance. Her additional Broadway credits include Masterclass with Tyne Daly, It Should Have Been You, The Phantom of the Opera, School of Rock. Off-Broadway credits include Love, Loss, and What I Wore. Music in the Air alongside Kristen Chenoweth. Oh, I'm doing an LGBT cruise with her in August, by the way. Oh my God. Bum, bum. New York City Center's Encore series. In the West End, she appeared as Fantine in Les Miserables. Turntable. They're getting rid of the turntable, by the way.
That makes me so sad.
Originated the role of Christine Daae in Phantom of the Opera Part 2, a.k.a. Love Never Dies. Critically acclaimed sequel to Phantom of the Opera, receiving an Olivier Award nomination for her performance. Concert appearances, multiple concert appearances. BBC Proms at Royal Albert Hall, Lincoln Center's American Songbook Series, the lyrics of David Zeppo, the New York Pops at Carnegie Hall, Broadway by the Year at Town Hall, Guys and Dolls at Carnegie Hall, name dropping with Patrick Wilson, Megan Mullally, Nathan Lane, Secret Garden at Lincoln Center, which is coming back to Broadway, by the way.
Please God.
I heard. She also traveled with her cellist sister, Summer. And what's the name of your other sister? Allegra?
Allegra, yes.
Hippie.
Yes, hippie parents.
All over U.S., Japan, Australia, with her concert show, Awakening, live at 54 Below, which is available on CD, by the way. Get it. Please welcome Sierra Boggess.
Oh my God, that was the best intro. Thank you.
Probably the loudest intro.
Yes, and the most enthusiastic. Thank you for being so excited about my career.
Oh, I am so excited. When Peter said, I was like, no, get out, shut up. And I was like, no more. United we stand, divided we fall. Let's make this interview the best of them all. I keep thinking of you as a West End princess, right? Because all these like Lloyd Webber and but you raised in Denver, hippie parents.
Yes.
And you were in Denver for like a really long time. You did the Corral. You did
Yes.
figure skating, like for real figure
Yes,
skating.
for real. That's what I wanted to do with my life. Being from Colorado, all I wanted to do was be a professional figure skater.
And I'm sure you would have been amazing at that too, like at the Olympics.
I mean that's
how
what I
weird.
wanted. Yeah, it is weird because, and then when Little Mermaid happened, and I found out that in order to swim, you had to be on the like Heelys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know how to do that ish because of skating. So you know about that your lower half of your body is going to be doing one thing, and then your upper half is making it look like it's so easy.
You did make it look very easy.
Thank you.
And I was like, how did she do that? I can't even do like a step ball change and say a line. Like I literally can't even do
I
that.
feel like you can.
But music literally has been part of your career, and you even played the flute.
Yes. I had a scholarship even to college. I didn't have a talent scholarship for musical theater. For a degree in musical theater, I had a scholarship for flute. I know. What the heck? I know.
And right now they're like, what did we pay for?
No.
We need more flautists.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm like, please, I would love to play flute again. So can we please do a show where I need to play a flute? Okay.
Maybe in the new Secret Garden they'll have the actors
Yeah,
play instruments like that.
exactly.
That's very popular.
You know,
it's cheaper.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
But this foundation in music from such an early start, you transition from genre to genre so well, such as like Phantom of the Opera. We know all those beautiful higher notes, but like even singing Camelot, but then to Ariel. I mean, these are totally different genres.
Yes.
And acting approach is different, musical approach, even where you place your tone. Your head voice and your chest voice are so married. It's like, let's hear the transition, and you can't because it's seamless.
Thank you.
Do you attribute that to such a hardcore musical training in instrument as well as your vocal instrument?
I worked really, really hard on that especially when I was in college, because I always grew up thinking and being told that as a woman in musical theater, you have both a belt voice and a soprano voice. I'm a natural coloratura, so I was always singing high. When I was singing as a high person, I'm from Colorado. I'm just kidding, but
It's legal now.
But I always sang very high when I was a child. So once I got to high school, actually, that was the first time I ever took a private voice lesson, and I wanted to learn how to belt. And so he taught me how to belt. That was just really important to me. So that's what I really worked on, and especially in college for 4 years. Then I wanted to be able to do both things because it, as you know, it gives you more opportunity when you go out into the world and you're auditioning. So I never want to take myself out of the running because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, or I can't sing like that.
Well, and it's so dangerous to say, it's like, okay, I want to learn how to belt, because there's a lot of bad vocal teachers out there that will teach you how to
Yes.
belt incorrectly, damage your voice, or even damage your mental approach.
Training anymore, and you start self-doubt starts coming in, and the thing, I feel like that thing that no matter where you're at in your life, you're always like, I'm gonna get found out that I don't know what I'm doing, because none of us know what we're doing, because we're all these like little beings that came onto the planet, and we're like, and it's like suddenly we're like revered as this thing, and it's like, but wait, no, I really don't. Like, I still feel like that kid at the stage door when I was in college that like stage doored people in the West End especially, and that's how I feel. So when people are doing that to me, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, hold on, I'm the same, like, it's weird. So
But you bring this like energy and this innocence to all of your roles,
Thank you.
which I think is why audiences respond to you so well, because it's not, do you nail the part? Do you nail the notes? Yes, but you also have this unique energy that's very accessible, I think, and exciting.
Thank
When we
you.
saw Ariel running around the stage and even coming to a role like Christine Dye that's so heavy.
Yes.
Audiences come expecting something, and that role is like, okay, we know what Christine is,
Yeah.
and they've done a movie. It has a lot of heaviness to it, and you bring this lightness and this
Thank you.
youthful energy
Thank you.
to it.
I-
Very intoxicating.
Thanks. I approach things, especially when they're really difficult sings. I tell this when I teach masterclass too. The only way that you can sing a high note is if you know what you're singing about. So if I don't know the intention behind what I'm doing, then I'm not going to be able to do it. It will just sound technical, and that can be really impressive. But I always say that's like anybody, especially musical theater, that you're really impressed by, like analyze why that is, and it's usually not just because they're giving a technical performance, but it's like
It's the storytelling.
it's the storytelling.
And in a bed.
Thank you. My one line in the first
know.
act. And in a bed.
You're like, I can't wait for Act 2
Yeah,
because
here we
my
go.
role will be bigger. Nope.
Nope. What was that? Nothing ever will.
Yeah.
That was
It's a
it.
good line,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
It's great. Listen, the line's great.
And you can break up with people like that. Be like,
Sure.
no, I was just singing my
Yeah.
song. Moving to New York right after graduation, I can't even imagine, being in your secure childhood place where you studied all your life, you performed in many, many different shows while growing up, straight plays and musical theater. But then you take that and you go to New York right after graduation. Number one, that takes some guts. What was your first month in New York like? What were the biggest things that surprised you?
The biggest thing that surprised me is my schedule was my own, because actually getting a degree in musical theater is some of the hardest work I've ever done in my life. I think in order to graduate, you need as a regular student, you need like something like 12 credits. For musical theater, you need like 25 credits.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I was working all the time in terms of school. So once I came to New York, I was like, I'm doing nothing. I felt like, and I remember calling my sister because she's 2 years older than me and she had graduated before me, and I was like, I just feel like I'm not doing anything. She's like, yeah, that's what happens, because also you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So you don't, especially in New York, I didn't want to leave the house, so I was never leaving my apartment. The only time that you do is like to maybe go get some food or something, or just like see a friend. So that was my biggest thing, was I don't know what to do with myself here. But I was auditioning all the time, and
Which is scary in itself too, because auditions in New York are unlike anything else.
Yes, though I will say my musical theater program at Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois, soybean capital of the world.
I performed at the Hoogland Performing Arts Center. It's in Decatur. It's in
The
Illinois.
Kirkland. Oh, is it? What's it
It's
called?
the Hoogland. It's like 10
Oh,
miles
it's
out.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
But I've been to
cool.
Decatur.
Oh my God.
They have a good Red Lobster. Thanks for the cheese biscuits.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, how weird.
Nobody's been to Decatur.
Oh, I was.
Yes, you were. So
There's a lot of cornfields.
there are, and
Yeah.
soybeans.
Yes.
Like that's what they're known for. And when the wind changes, the soy factory, it smells like I can't even. It's
Well, and when you log into Grindr, like the closest person was like 60 miles away. I'm like,
absolutely.
"Meh, I'm in Decatur.
Exactly. So in school I was auditioning a lot because the program, you were auditioning for student projects. So I was I was more ready then than I am now. Now if I get called to audition, I'm like, I forget how, because you're just not in that frame of mind anymore. So yes, it was like, but I was also more excited than I was nervous. I remember, like I was prepared. which was important to me. Before I moved to New York, I knew that it would be really, really difficult. So I got my equity card. So I wasn't one of the kids like waiting out in the cold and that may or may not be seen, like all that stuff. So I did as much as I possibly could to get myself ready, so to make it a little easier on myself.
Well, and your first show, Princesses, it's funny because that cast has, I mean, you guys were like unknowns then.
Yes.
And now everybody has done something.
Yes.
I mean, that must have been a magical show.
It was. So Princesses was this musical. Of course, I'm graduating college. I've never looked my age, so suddenly they're like, great, you can play, go back to playing like you're in your like freshman year of high school. So I was like, cool. So all of us, this is like a cast full of, Lindsay Mendez was my first roommate ever, and she just won the Tony for Carousel, for people who don't know. And Patty Murin, who's playing in Frozen on Broadway, and Marissa Perry, who was the final Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray. I mean, the list is like on and on. It was incredible because, so that felt like home to me because I had just graduated. It took me about 3 weeks, and then I mean, that's like really lucky.
I don't just say 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Give us a break, would you?
I just can't. So it's like 3 weeks, and then I like land this show that's like all these girls that are just like me, and you know, it was really amazing. And I met David Zippel, who was extraordinary to me, and also his apartment in New York at the time was like this penthouse on Central Park West that I was like, oh my God, I want to live here. So that's like the first apartment I'm seeing, thinking like, that's where I'll live. And it's like, that costs $20 million. You ain't gonna make that in theater. So it was an extraordinary show to be a part of, and it was supposed to come into Broadway. But I was so green. I didn't know anything about this stuff, but we had negotiated Broadway contracts and everything. We were ready to come in, but it never did for whatever reason.
That kills me. Like, you never know what's going to succeed. You never know what's actually going to come. And when you put all your hope on a show and it doesn't quite go, that plays with your psyche.
Oh, yes. And this was like this show was pre-Legally Blonde, the musical. And once Legally Blonde, the musical came in, it was like Princesses.
And then to transitioning to going on the road with the touring production of Les Mis, you know, musical theater stewards like, yes, I'm in Les Mis. And then, oh, well, you're doing how many shows on the road, going from city to city?
Yeah.
That's a whole different kind of experience that you hadn't done before.
It is. And I remember my agent at the time, not my agent currently, but the agent I was with didn't want me to go on the road with it. But I was like, I literally had just written my last check to Lindsay, actually, because she took care of all that. And my bank account was at zero. I'll never forget. And then I went in and did an audition that day for something else. And the casting director, Tara Rubin, who's I credit the whole beginning of my career to, she was like, she's not right for this, but we have something like an immediate Cosette understudy replacement on the road. And so I went in and that day booked it, and literally had $0 in my account. So I was like, number one, I have to go on this because I need a job. Second of all, it's my first production contract. And third, it's Les Mis. Yeah. And that's every musical theater kid's dream. Plus, it's my dad's favorite show. So I'm like, I gotta just get and take like pictures with my Canon camera, like to send to my dad. Like, so it was extraordinary. And because again, I didn't know anything that's going on, and I'm in the ensemble, so it's not like show's on my shoulders. I'm living my best life.
And you missed Act 1 once, I think.
Yes, I did, because I was auditioning for Phantom of the Opera. Sorry.
Do you remember the first time you actually performed the role of Cosette?
Yes, I do. Very well, actually. And I would never do what I did now, knowing what I know. I surprised my parents with it. So we were in Washington, D.C. I found out that I was going to get to go on. It was like in the schedule. So my parents were coming to see me in Les Mis. They didn't know they were going to see me go on.
Oh my God.
So I made it a surprise. Like that pressure enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now Sierra would never do that. But then it was like, this will be so exciting for them. So I remember I didn't tell them anything, but also I bought their tickets, and that was a major thing for me because it was like, for the first time, I'm on a production contract and I can afford to buy their tickets as like these people who've supported me my entire life. It meant like, I don't know, that was like a big monumental thing for me. Yeah. And I remember coming on for the first time as Cosette, like when it turned in my life. so strange, the feeling that my life's begun at last. And the light like coming on my face.
And you knew where they were sitting since you had
I
bought the
knew where they
ticket.
were sitting,
Yeah.
but I was also like, oh my gosh, I wonder, they must be so excited. But I was also just like so jazzed with all the energy, and
Yeah.
you need that for like, does he know I'm alive?
Yeah.
It's like running and like being so like innocent. But it was, that role for me too was like such a dream. And so getting to do that, and then my other favorite part of that night was walking out of the stage door, and they were there and just like their faces were swollen, like they couldn't even deal with it. And so they found out I was going on when they walked into the lobby, and it says
said,
at this performance the role,
yeah.
because that will be played by
Yeah.
Sierra Boggess.
What an amazing experience to be able to share with your family that did support you, and
Yes.
even for yourself. It's like,
Oh yes.
that kind of pressure. I know your callback for Phantom in Vegas. You had to audition with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes.
And Hal Prince.
Yes, and Gillian Lynn.
Right.
Yes.
I can't even imagine what those nerves must have been like. Did they just have you sing from the show?
Yes. Remember, though, I was like 23, 24 years old. So you're just like, this is everything to me. Whereas, like, I don't know, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh my God, like that would be so nervous. Whereas then I'm like, yes, I get to sing this role that I don't know. There's something about Christine, even to this day, that I'm like, I'm still not done telling her story. There is something that I am just like, it is some cosmic connection with this character. I have no idea. So I remember being really, really excited for that. I remember Hal sitting in, and where the callback was on the Broadway, was the Ambassador Theater where Chicago plays on Broadway. So that was my first time ever walking on a Broadway stage. Wow. And I came out and I remember seeing the glare of Hal's glasses on
Always
his head.
on his forehead, always.
Which is iconic.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, cool. And I remember after I sang Think of Me. And then he goes, well, that's just swell. And I remember being like, wow, someone still says swell. Like, that's so cool.
Al Prince could say anything he wants.
Yes, he can. And I was like, all right, cool. And
Wow.
so I was like, thank you. And then he had me read that awful. It's that scene that's like, it's like the one book scene, you know, where it's like, because you would run into the sea to fetch my scarf, you know. It's like this, like, well, we got to see if she can do like these lines. And so I read that with someone who was also auditioning for Raoul. And then that was it. And then they asked me to stay, and I read with about 3 or 4 different Raouls. So now I know what that was,
Yeah.
that they were like, oh, this girl's, we want
She's the
this
one,
girl.
let's see who fits well.
But then I was like, cool, I'm just staying, and like, they just keep being like, just having now this girl come stay, and then these guys are like coming through, and I'm reading with all of them. And that, once I left the audition, as I was in the cab heading to the airport, I got the call saying you booked it. So I was booking these things like the day of, which is never happens anymore. It's just not a thing.
And we talked about approaching the role of Christine. I remember when I saw you 3 times in Vegas when you performed it. People were like, are you going for the slot machines or the buffets? I'm like, no, I'm going to see Phantom.
Yes, you
like,
are.
Like, literally, that's why I went to Vegas.
on.
But you made Christine a strong character. You know, when we first, the Sarah Brightman, it was beautiful, but I always felt that Christine was not like the strongest character, and there had to be that spark for somebody like the Phantom to be so interested in this singer.
Yes.
What was your acting approach when you're like, okay, I got the role? How did you set about making Christine different for yourself?
Oh my God. I love it so much. I could talk about Christine for like ever. I think that I want to start teaching a class about ingenue stuff because I think that for some reason we have decided that ingenues are supposed to be like these like weak little like things that are just like, and pretty like objects of affection, and that's kind of their thing, and so they can be vapid. But Christine is so strong.
Yeah.
She is stronger than any of those people. You know, she doesn't show her cards. Like the Phantom's like, oh, I'm strong, I'm gonna kill people, and Raoul's like, oh, I'm strong, I'm gonna kill the Phantom, and she's like, I'm gonna actually grow up. Like what her story. She's on stage the entire when she was so young. She lost her mother when she was even younger. She's by herself, and she is being manipulated by this man, this ghost, this thing who is telling her that he is her father. It is like, it's so messed up.
It is.
I wanted to
Daddy
use another word.
Yeah.
But it's really messed up what he's doing and how he gets in. So at first, yes, she can appear like, I don't know what's going on, but she doesn't know what's going on. And she's having an awakening in every sense, a
Yeah.
sexual awakening, like she's never been touched like this before, and there is a connection musically that she has never had, and her voice, like the metaphor of that her voice is coming out and like all of this stuff. But for me, it's like by the time we get to right before wishing, actually the second manager scene when he is sending the letters and saying Christine will do this, and when Raoul her own fiance is like, you have to do this, and the answer is you, she realized that I found that I am alone. I have nothing. I have no one, and every male figure in my life has let me down. My fiance, this teacher of mine, and my father. And that's when she goes to the grave and she sings Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. That's why she does it, because she's like, you mother, you know, it's like, you have let me down. Because there is, in grief, there's also such anger.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm young, I don't know what's going on, and I am now in charge of keeping this opera house running, and this, like, I am now this prima donna that I didn't ask for, the prima donna, that she hates me. I have nothing. And actually, who I found is her only friend, isn't Meg, because she's not strong and grounded enough. It's Madame Giry. She's actually the only one who's, like, looking out for Christine. But once I sing Wishing, it's like the story is completely shifts for Christine. She's like, I know who I am, and I'm saying goodbye. I'm saying goodbye to what I thought this was supposed to be, and now I'm growing up. Now I'm a woman. So we watch her become who she is so that she has the strength later to stand up to the Phantom in the end. And the kiss is from deep love. I do love you. And this is the only language in which you can understand. Christine is extraordinary. She's extraordinary. And the way that she's written to sing, it's like a glove. It's like, I don't know. There is something that I just feel like such a spiritual connection to.
And she is the character that we see the full arc.
Yes.
From the strength at the end. I mean, she's...
But don't worry, that Phantom gets that last bow. I'm like,
but
you know what?
Funny? It's like, it's
Sure.
like 20 minutes in, it's like, okay.
He's on stage for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The show's 2.5 hours. He on stage 20 minutes.
And you got to revisit the role in a very unique way. When they announced Phantom of the Opera 2, which is, you know, the slang way of saying Love Never Dies, it was like, workshopping that must have been very interesting.
Yes.
Because you have brought this strength to Christine, and we see Raoul still... I never understood why she went after Raoul. I'm like, oh, he's pretty, so
Well,
what?
he makes sense. He makes sense on paper.
Yes.
And at the start, he's not doing anything wrong. He's actually really loving, and he's like, what's wrong? Like, I want to help you. But he can't understand that connection that she has. He doesn't understand music. He doesn't there is, yes.
And we've all dated people like that. It's
we
like,
have.
Where's the passion in you? Yes,
Sure.
you're the nicest. Yes,
You
everything.
look right. He
yeah.
looks right. Yes, the whole thing. Whereas, try and explain the Phantom, that I'm marrying the Phantom to your parents.
Yeah.
He has half a face. He lives under the opera house. He has a boat, and he has actually a doll that looks just like me.
Creepy.
And he's and murdered people.
But damn, he looks good in the
But
tuxedo.
oh my God, we have this connection.
But that's what happens in real life.
Yes,
we get
it does.
inspired by sometimes the strangest people in our life.
Yes.
What was it like workshopping that? Because I know that the piece went through so many different transitions and changes. How often were you guys changing it?
Well, the very first time that I flew there to do the workshop was only to workshop the second act of it, and it was while I was doing Little Mermaid, actually, at the time. And so I go there, and it was 1 week long, and that's when I sang the material for the first time and all that stuff. And I was in heaven, because I'm like, oh my God. By the time she sings the aria, Love Never Dies, and it just put into play like everything that I had already felt about these characters. And I personally loved the piece, but I also loved who I was working with. I mean, those people in London are still my London family. All the actors that I was working with, the director was Jack O'Brien, who's, to me, one of my favorite directors I've ever worked with. He's so smart. And he filled in all kinds of blanks that the audience are like, what's going on? But for us as the actors, it was like, it was heaven, because I remember he wrote out like a dissertation for what Christine's going through the day that she arrived, which the audience doesn't see, but to help me know what was going on the first moment you see Christine get off the boat after she's received this like random telegram, and now she's off the boat. And he's like, I remember him saying that's like, back then in that time, the way that you arrive was via a boat from London all the way to New York, to Coney Island. What you see, what Coney Island was like during that time, what you would have been thinking about, how gray it was, like all these things that she would have been going through. And then suddenly you arrive. So he did all kinds of stuff like that. So it went through a lot of change. The weird and strange and awful part of it was that once we had opened and we were running, then a whole new team came aboard and rehearsed their version of it. And so that's unheard of. I've never experienced anything like that. And I had a very hard time with that part of things because I'm doing the version that I was taught and that we worked so hard on and all this stuff. And now suddenly it's being completely changed around. And I only had like a couple months left of my contract at that point. But that's why. So now these new versions that we see, I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit, and I still feel it hasn't quite found its footing.
Yes.
And maybe that's because the parents have changed, so to speak, in running it.
And I think it's also such a hard thing because the fans of Phantom, it's been, I mean, that was the Hamilton of its time.
Yeah.
So people think they own that story. So I don't think anyone's ever going to be satisfied with the version of it. And it's such a weird thing to carry on. You kind of want to know what happens after, but you kind of also want to fill in the blanks for yourself because how Phantom ends is leaving you with the question. Mm-hmm. This is trying to answer the question, but people have answered it for themselves already, so it's very hard, I think, to get people behind. This is the answer.
It's funny, the first time I listened to the cast recording, I was like, okay, which of the Phantom lyrics or lines are going to be in there? And I kept listening. I was like, it's very little music from first. And it's funny, because as a fan, it's a sequel. It should be something different.
Yes.
But
you still want.
That's right.
Yes. And I remember Andrew adding, right before I sing Love Never Die, after the Phantom comes and sings to her in her dressing room, the reprise of Till I Hear You Sing. And then in her state, she sings, what's the lyric? Now I can't remember. It's from Second Managers. Oh, Twisted Every Way. Yeah. Twisted Every Way, what answer can I give? And Andrew, that's the song that Andrew plays when he needs to even just like settle himself for what he's gonna. It's one of the. I love that piece. That's like, it's such a small like motif, but that's where she is, and that lyric too. Twisted Every Way, what answer can I give? And it's like he kills without a thought. He murders all this. I know I can't refuse, and yet I wish I could. That is what's going on in her head before she sings this aria.
I love this depth that you've brought to this character.
Thank you.
And like I said, it's evident in every role that you do. A show that you have coming up that you are not getting this huge rehearsal process. We know the Hollywood Bowl every summer puts together all-star cast, stars from screen, stage. You're doing Into the Woods at the Hollywood Bowl with probably the most unique pairing of actors, different genres, different resumes that I've ever seen.
Yes.
And you're kind of thrown into the process. It's rehearse, perform a few nights, and then it's like, okay, that was
bye.
Into the Woods, which is not a small show.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're playing Cinderella. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. How, when you found out that you were doing it, it's a whole different kind of strength, but this kind of same elements that you have brought to Christine. It's like this strong woman that Cinderella's always been like, my prince, and she's like,
Yeah.
How have you approached this role differently than, let's say, Christine or even Ariel?
I guess I have to say that I sort of approach everything the same way. It's just the characters are different, but I always approach it from where I resonate with the heart of each character. And with Cinderella, I do love that she is, she says this line in the first act that's wanting a ball is not wanting a prince.
Yeah.
And I love that line so much because it's saying it's like, wanting to be married isn't actually wanting who you married. And, that we get so, as humans, we get so caught up in like, oh, this is what I want because everybody has this and this seems right and this will fix my situation, is a lot of times what that is. And Cinderella, all of these fairy tale characters, why we love fairy tales, are they're all metaphors for what's actually going on in our lives. Just because we're not like living in our like some castle with a evil stepmother and then lose a shoe and like turn into.
But we all have our versions of our evil stepmother in our life.
Yes, but what I love about this show is that yes, you think you're seeing this like Cinderella, who can talk to birds, which she can, and I love that. And I'm from Colorado, and I'm always talking to birds.
I love when Little Red's like, you can talk to birds.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, girl,
like,
simmer it down.
Anyways, yeah, she just moves on. She's
she
like,
totally does.
She doesn't even like give it. She's not even like, yeah. She's just like, anyway. So about the killing of the giant, it's so awesome, but yeah, the heart of her is that she's like, we watch her examine like what's actually going on, and we even see that marriage being confusing before it even gets to that point where it's like, this prince he looks like he's charming and he wants me, but the baker's wife's more interested in the prince than she is, and like,
because she needs that little fantasy.
She does, and she's
we see what happens.
Well, because also she wants to save herself from her situation, and as we know, especially like in that time, we think, especially little girls it's just like a man will fix that, but actually little boys are raised too. That's like the girl will fix that. I don't have to grow up until the girl tells me to. It's like that's Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And with this, it's like the man will fix this for me. So she even says the lyric in the beginning of the second act, I'm going to be a perfect wife. I'm going to see that he is so happy. That's her goal.
Conversations about gender equality.
Yes.
We're having conversations about women in front of the camera, behind the camera, movers and shakers. And Sondheim did it with this piece. The women save everything in Act 2. They're like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
That's right.
You need to get some guts together.
Yes.
And it's literally the women showing us.
Yes. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, and I love that piece because it happened before it was even a popular thing.
Absolutely. That's why it's like lyrically it's so smart. All of the themes in it, it's just like, but that's what I love about these shows now is that when we do them now, it's people are like, oh my God, like it resonates in such a different way with us.
You get to sing my favorite song from the whole show, and of course there's many favorite songs, but No One Is Alone.
Oh my God.
It's an amazingly written song that stands on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very sad, but it's almost a little hopeful as well.
Yes.
Tell me what that song means to you right now in your present career journey.
First of all, I still haven't been able to sing it without crying.
Yeah.
It's so poignant, and I realized the other day actually when I was working on it, I'm like, for Cinderella, she's saying things to Little Red Riding Hood that were never said to her because she lost her mother, and that's where she's coming from when the grave is the tree, and she goes to her mother. That's why she goes into the woods, because I need to talk to my mother, who she's never been able to speak to, but she talks through this tree, through these birds. And then when that's gone, and for her, yes, she's giving hope to this little girl, but I realized the other day, this is not something that she has known her whole life. So the wisdom is coming out of her by accident almost. It's like saying these words, she's healing herself while she's healing this little girl. And it's profound. And also, one of my favorite lyrics in that piece is witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. And that was like, holy political climate.
I was gonna say, like, that's
you decide.
What's happening.
And that's the thing, is that and saying that no one is alone. It's so yes, we come onto this planet alone. We leave this planet alone, but we aren't. We are hardwired for human connection, as Brené Brown says. I love Brené Brown. And that is what this is. We are there is an inextricable bond between us as humans, and we're trying to understand each other, and all these characters are coming together in the woods trying to understand
from all walks of life.
And each of them are dealing with their thing. Each of them has a neurosis or whatever it is, and everyone leaves the woods changed. And the woods are a metaphor. It's the simplest, and how brilliant that's like we're using fairy tales. So yes, you can come and think that's like, come on, we're going to see a story about Cinderella and Little Red, but we are seeing that, and Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see how the audience at the Hollywood Bowl responds, because the shows are usually very fun, and we know Into the Woods, there's a huge comedic part to that.
Yes.
And there's your favorite moments from the fairy tales, there's some surprises, but it's a really heavy show.
Oh, it is. It gets dark. It gets real dark.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think that everybody's going to feel differently, and depending on where you're sitting too, because I feel like, you might start out like super relaxed, like way,
you have some wine, you go to the bar, you're with your friends, you're like, this is fun. And you're like, wait, what happened?
Then you're like, wait, why am I crying?
Yes.
Is anyone else feeling these emotions?
But that's the best part of theater, because you never know, and you can't manufacture that. You can't say, okay, now the audience is going to feel that way. That's what I love about theater, is every night it's a different surprise, it's a different energy, and you never know how an audience is going to react.
Yes.
HollywoodBowl.com to get your tickets, July 26th through the 28th.
Yep.
Small window of time for such a big show, so get your tickets. Enjoy the Hollywood Bowl and enjoy this cast of characters. Have you met everybody?
I haven't
before?
met everyone. I've worked with a couple people
Yeah.
before, but I'm so excited. I mean, once this cast came to be, it's like, I wish that we were doing a long run of this, because it's like, oh my God, all these
I wish
people.
there was a recording being made.
I know, me too.
Do it for charity, Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
please.
Also, if you need an understudy and somebody needs to kiss Cheyenne Jackson, just let me know.
Okay, yeah.
Just let me know. I've listened to the part.
Good to
enough.
know. Yes. All right.
But
As long
need a
as you've
different
listened to
costume.
it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can rehearse the kissing part with you if you wouldn't. Yeah, that's fine. You'll be good.
And you've got to perform in so many different cities, so many different countries. What a whirlwind your career has been. I can't even imagine what's in the future. What kind of role would you want to tackle next?
I feel like I always answer this question with whatever role presents itself to me becomes the one that's like, oh, this is my dream. I'm working on Ever After right now, which is the movie from 1998 or something.
James
starring-
Marsden.
And Drew Barrymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
she played
Ever After.
Cinderella.
Oh, and Angelica Houston.
Yeah, and Angelica
they have
Houston.
that one scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yes. So that's been turned into a musical, and so it's cool because I've been working on that version of it's a Cinderella story as well. So getting to do this Cinderella, it's like there's something, I don't know, the universe is like, Sierra, can you do some Cinderella for us? So here she is.
And what an amazing story, what an amazing song. Like I said, go to HollywoodBowl.com, get your tickets. 26th for the 28th. Okay, we do a little rapid fire before we let you go.
Oh, God.
All right. This is kind of a two-parter. Favorite part of Phantom, least favorite part of Phantom, like doing the show.
Oh, favorite part of Phantom is music of the night because I just get to be there and experience that whole thing. I think the least favorite part is the quick changes.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
the
some really
quick changes. Yeah.
If you could go back in time and originate any Broadway role, male or female, which one would it be?
Javert and Les Mis.
Oh, that wasn't even a heartbeat.
No.
There's some pretty good lyrics.
Absolutely.
And some good phrasing. Russell Crowe, what happened? A show tune you would be okay with putting to bed. Like, okay, we've heard that enough.
Oh, that's tough.
Mine is Corner of the Sky from Pippin.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, some of these, I have to go with like some of these new ones. Even I'm just like, I can't. I'm afraid
They
to
were done
say.
before they started.
Thank you.
probably
There it
shouldn't
is.
say
And
'cause-
scene.
and
Thank
scene.
you.
There we
Okay.
go. Okay, we know you're out there. Okay. After show ritual. So you've finished a performance. What is it that when you step through your door, whether you're at a hotel, what is it that you do for yourself?
If I'm at home, I hang out with my cats. It's like the most grounding
You
thing.
have like two.
I have two cats. Their
Yeah.
names are Celie and Olivia from Color Purple.
Yeah.
My sister has Nettie, so we got all
I
that
love
covered.
that.
I'm not, and Nettie's like the pretty one too. Like she's all calico, and Celie's like gray, and a little like
Yeah.
weird. No, it's all good. So that really is my thing. I'm not like somebody who's like, oh, I gotta have a glass of wine or anything like that. But I just need to I need to be in my space. Especially after a big role, I just need to come home and chill out.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Craziest fan experience.
Oh, crazy. I think all of them. Whenever I come out the stage door, it's hard. We always call it the third act because you've just done 2 acts of massive work and then you have to come out and it's always for me is the crazy thing is the energy coming at me, and it's a lot. But
You're exhausted.
yes, but I have tried to analyze this of like what do they need, because and what I realize is they need to be heard and they need to be seen. So I just try and let them say and be present with what they need to do, and just try and like allow that space for them, and then that's that. So then I really need to go see my cats.
And that's tough because you are exhausted, but all it takes is one for you to just be like too tired to like sign one more autograph.
Totally.
And the fans are like, oh, this is who she really is off
Sure.
stage. It's like, no.
No.
Like, do I go to your job and be like, you
no,
know?
I've realized that it's like, because this isn't something you prepare for, or, you know, in school, you're not ready for this, and you're not ready for any level of like fame that you get. It happened, that part feels overnight. The getting there is not,
Right.
but the fame part seems like it's overnight, and suddenly it's like you're getting stopped in the street. That I'm still not ready for, and it is like, it's very unsettling for me. But I really am trying to just be, it's not that it's not being annoyed with it, it's being uncomfortable with like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'm trying to just be as like grounded as possible and just allow them to have their experience.
And what a great role model you are, talking about this strength that you bring to ingenue roles or any role that you get. My first time meeting Patti LuPone, she invited me backstage because I had written her so many letters. Then I brought 5 things for her to sign, and she was like, no, boo-boo.
Yeah,
she's
like,
too
okay,
much. We're done. Like, but I love you.
Yeah.
The funniest or craziest on-stage mishap?
Oh, that would be in Phantom in Wishing with the iconic like cape going like this, and I fling it out during Wishing, and it as my arms are out, then the cape starts wrapping around me like this, and I have to take these steps forward, and I step upon the cape, and I go all the way down, and so now I'm on the ground, and I'm like, well, I'm about to Maria Callas this, and I'm like clawing, like try to forgive, like it turned into the most dramatic. I'm like, oh my God, what is this choice this girl is making
That's
right
gonna be
now?
in every future production.
Yeah, they're like, Sierra Boggess went down to her knees here, you guys. She belly crawled.
I love that so much. Tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you on social media.
Oh, you can find me, my website, sierraboggess.com. My
2 G's, 2 S's.
2 G's, 2 S's. My Twitter is, I think, Sierra Boggess. My Instagram is official Sierra Boggess. I had to put the stupid official because someone was pretending they were me, and so I had to do it. And
It's
on
Sarah
Facebook.
Brightman. I know it's her.
It was. You know it was.
You bet.
Sorry.
I love it. We literally could talk for hours and hours
Yes.
and hours. Can't wait to see you at the Hollywood Bowl. Like I said, July 26th and 28th. Big thank you to Sierra for coming in. All of our guests for tonight. My guest co-host, Kurt, our engineer, Mama Rose in the chat room, Here TV, and you, our loyal listeners. Share us, tweet us, DM us. At On The Rocks on air, Facebook On The Rocks Radio Show, OnTheRocksRadioShow.com for everything you ever wanted. Coming up, we have Will and Grace actor Brian Jordan Alvarez. We have 8-time Academy Award nominee makeup artist V. Neal is here. She did Hunger Games, Mrs. Doubtfire, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Pirates of the Caribbean. We also have America's Got Talent Michael Paul, and we have Star Trek's Legacy Keeper Rod Roddenberry, and more. On The Rocks is the place to be every single week. See you next Tuesday. This has been On The Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on The Rocks Radio Show. Tweet me or Instagram me at On The Rocks On Air. See you next Tuesday!